Hi, everyone. This is Raquel.
Hi, and this is Jennifer.
Welcome to Madness Cafe.
This is a feminist podcast where we talk about women's issues, politics, and health and wellness.
And where those issues intersect. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Madness Cafe. Today, it's another installment of Minisode. Jennifer and I are hopping in to talk about the whole debacle with Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni having to do with the movie It Ends With Us, based on the book by the same name, written by Colleen Hoover. Jennifer, why did you want to jump in and have a conversation about this?
Yeah, well, it's a little bit complicated, but I started talking on the phone with my friend the other day, with my friend Tiffany, who you know, about all of the stuff that was going on TikTok. I don't have TikTok anymore. I don't see it, but I did see a few blurbs on Instagram. Mostly what I saw was from the feminists that I follow, and they said, we should have believed Blake Lively. Why are we always blaming the woman? I was like, oh, what's going on? So I started following it down the rabbit hole. And I realized that it had to do with Justin Baldoni. So I called Tiffany because
and for those who don't know, Justin Baldoni, co-star in the movie, also the director of the movie, and he's an actor who's been in some other stuff, specifically Jane the Virgin, and he has a podcast called
Man
Enough with Liz Plank, who is a feminist writer, and she has a blog or something called Feministabulous, and she has a book out right now and some other stuff, and I don't remember the other host's name. It's a guy, can't remember his name.
Oh shoot, why can't I think of his name at this moment? Because he's really important, because he's involved in this story.
Yeah, but I don't know his name.
I will think of it. That's actually the reason why, because I wasn't even planning on watching the movie. I like Blake Lively. I watched Gossip Girl back in the day. I like her work. Don't have anything super positive or super negative to say either way about her.
Right.
But I started listening to the Man Enough podcast. I think I told Tiffany about it. I think I told you about it. I was like, everybody, you got to hear this podcast. Here's some men talking about Jamie Heath.
Okay.
Here's some men talking about toxic masculinity, how to do manhood another way. They've got this woman on there. She's a feminist. They're talking about all these issues. It's very exciting. Yesterday, when I called Tiffany about this, she was like, you were right. He's a scum. And I was like, what? What did I say? And she said, well, you didn't say that exactly, but in the beginning, you said there was something that didn't sit right with you about Justin Baldoni. So then last night, I had to get that movie out and watch it.
Oh.
I was watching the way the actress and the actor were interacting with each other. And I was like, I was scanning it, trying to see if he was doing any kind of foul play. It's really interesting because I had to go back and think about it. What was it that didn't sit right with me from the very beginning? And I think it's what doesn't sit right with me in general. And I'm going to generalize all over the place with all men right now. And I am going to say hashtag all men.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that all men are perpetrators and all men are sexual abusers but there is something that men are fucking not understanding.
Yeah.
Blake Lively went to the producers of the show and said, I'm not feeling comfortable. Can we set some things down in a contract? They went through a contract together. He signed it. She signed it. There were fucking simple things on there. Like, for example, he was not allowed to come into her trailer uninvited.
Right.
And yet
because there were instances where he would come in while she was in various stages of undress, and like body makeup was either being applied or taken away, and she would ask him to leave and he wouldn't, and then she would ask him at the very least to look away to give her some privacy, and
which he also didn't do in the way that she asked.
Right.
So I guess what really sits with me, but that's really hard about this issue is the three of them, Justin Baldoni, Jamie Heath, and Liz Plank,
Mhm,
had this podcast. They're talking about these very important issues. They're pro feminism, pro woman, really trying to delve into what it is to be a man. Justin Baldoni himself talks so many times on that podcast about being exposed to porn at a very young age, what it did to his masculinity, to his ideas about women. He's very pro talking about his wife, his respect, etc. And he's still fucking out of line in his
mhm,
work environment. I just see it all the time. I just see it all
mhm,
the time. Like, I'm not like hating on Justin. I do think that he was in the wrong.
mhm,
Do think that he deserves whatever comes out of this, but it is such a systemic, it's like that whole fish in the water thing. Like we're
mhm,
swimming in it and we don't even see it. And the things that I saw on Instagram that alerted me to this whole issue were all about, we have so much internalized misogyny that all
mhm,
of us
mhm.
were willing to blame her first.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
just so much of it.
Mhm,
A lot of people on the internet were like, "Oh, she's this beautiful star. She's just bitching. She's just being hard to work." And then, according to what I learned, they knew that this was going to come out, and so Justin Baldoni and his team, launched a counterattack before she could even accuse him.
yeah.
And that's the thing. Because what I would have really liked to see from someone who has a feminist podcast, or at least a Man Enough podcast, a podcast where you're talking about how to be a man in today's world, I would have liked to see, oh my gosh, I made a mistake.
Mhm,
And I wanna own up to that, because that's what a real man does. A
right,
real man says, oh yeah, I'm swimming in it. The misogyny is real. I made a mistake. I stepped out of line. I owe Liz, not Liz, sorry. I owe Blake Lively an apology. And actually, he
right.
owes Liz one too, because, oh God, she must be just fucking devastated. Now, I've babbled on a lot. What's your take?
I had not been following this much at all. I was just vaguely aware that there was some brouhaha about the movie, and I was like, whatever, I don't care. Haven't seen the movie, didn't read the book, had no skin in that game. Nothing against Blake Lively, nothing against Justin Baldoni, nothing against anybody. I was just like, whatever. They're living their lives, that's fine. And then I started to hear more about it, and I was like, something feels weird. But I still wasn't like, oh, this is taking up my attention. Because there's plenty of other things in the world. Then, because I follow Liz Plank on Instagram, she had some posts about how she was devastated and something was going on with their Man Enough podcast and all this stuff. I'm like, what the hell is happening? And then I saw some post from Amber Tamblyn, who is friends with Blake Lively and has been friends with her for years and years and years. She was just like, how dare people? This is somebody that is my friend and she is a great person and blah blah, and how dare you people, and like literally standing up for her friend, like you would hope any of your friends would stand up for you, right? And I was like, okay, something's really going on. And then you brought up wanting to talk about it. And I was like, let me dive into this because there's some shit going on. And I want to know what the hell this is. I kept going down the rabbit hole, reading all this stuff and watching YouTube videos and all this stuff. If Justin Baldoni is at all sorry for anything that he's done, he is not going about things the right way. If he is wrong, he needs to just literally, and I do mean this pun, man up and be man enough to stand up and be like, yo, I was a dick. I'm sorry. I got caught up in whatever I got caught up in, my ego game or whatever. And just go, you know what? I'm sorry. I owe you, Blake, and all these other people, and Liz, and all these other people who I have led to believe a certain thing about me, I will owe y'all an apology. But no, no, he either of his own volition or because he's being controlled and molded by his team, which if that's the case, boo boo, I'm gonna need you to wake up and be your own person. But decided to use the exact same crisis PR team that Johnny Depp used
Yep,
to
yep,
go after
yep,
Amber Heard. And I
yep.
didn't follow that bullshit either. I didn't
Me
get sucked
neither.
into that because I was like, ooh, that's too much. Like that's way that's too I have there's a little part of my heart that loves trash TV, but woo, that was too much. That was a bridge too far for me. And I was like, I can't. But to choose the exact, not just the same agency, but the exact same people.
Run by women, by the way.
Right. And the two women who were in control, who were the head of that team, are, because with the complaint that Blake Lively has filed, all this stuff it's put out there, it's spelled out because in California, before you can file a lawsuit, you file a complaint, which it's different in some states. For instance, in Georgia, filing the complaint is part of the actual lawsuit. But California, it's different. The complaint comes first, and then there's some other part of the process to determine if it then becomes a lawsuit. So the complaint, which is public record, spells out all this stuff. And I'm like, what in the hell? And the two women are like, yeah, we're going to get her. We're going to take her down. And oh, it's so crazy how easy it is for people to jump on the train to hate women
Yep. And why do you suppose these two women are so willing to do that?
because they're getting paid good money to do it. Because I don't even think that it's a matter of them thinking that it won't happen to them. I think it's that they just don't fucking care. I think they're literally looking at that paycheck and they're like, I'm making mine. Fuck everybody else. This is my bank account. I'm getting my coins right now. Fuck everybody else. I'm
Yeah.
good at this job. This is what I'm going to do.
It is sort of like the I'm good at this job. It's a game that I'm playing. I can twist the system. I can win this. I can make her look really bad. I can make Justin Baldoni come out a shining star like Johnny Depp. And now that I look back at the Johnny
Which
Depp,
Johnny Depp didn't exactly come out as shining star. He's still he may be a star still, but he's coated in shit. Opinion.
okay, but I will say this about Johnny Depp. He never had a podcast that said that he was man enough,
Right,
right?
exactly. Yeah, he
He
wasn't
never
trying
went
to
out,
teach anybody how to be
right.
a feminist man.
And I'm not saying that Johnny Depp is anybody I'd want anybody I know
No,
dating anytime soon,
no, no.
but these men were presenting themselves in a completely different light.
Yep, yep,
And
exactly.
when I look back to those first episodes that I was listening to Justin Baldoni, I heard something in the way that he spoke that I have heard from men before, and I've been trying to put my finger on it, and I don't have it exactly, but it's something about when they're talking about women, it's still very paternalistic.
Mhm,
It's still very I know what's right, and something overly sexualized about the way that they talk about women and girls.
mm,
And I'm not saying he always did this, but I'm trying to think of what was it when I was listening to him that set me off in the very beginning.
mhm,
I've heard so many men describing women, sometimes young women, sometimes
mhm.
high school women,
Girls.
girls, in an overly sexualized manner. Not that it can even be overly. Like, why is it always sexualized?
Mhm,
And there
mhm,
was just something in the way that he talked about it. This doesn't sit right with me. And more than that, what is sad for me is, okay, Justin Baldoni, fine. But
mhm, mhm,
so many men, I'm starting to feel women's brains evolved and men's didn't. I'm reading this book called Eve. Can't remember the author right now. We can put it in the
mhm,
show notes. But she is talking about the evolution of women. And she says that women are selective in their sex because they are trying to have the best sperm to make a child.
mhm.
Men are trying to squirt that sperm everywhere.
Yep, they're just
Everywhere,
squirting it wherever they
anywhere.
can squirt it.
any kind of hole they can fucking find.
Yeah.
That is what destroys me. Are
Hmm.
they still at that level? Is that really what it's all about?
Possibly.
And
Yeah.
I think in some way that is what I heard from him on that podcast. Even though he
Hmm.
was like kind of saying all the right things, there was some undertone of she's just another woman with a hole to stick it in. And I'm
Wow.
sorry to say it that way. I just really feel like that.
One of the things that has disturbed me so much about all of this, I mean, yeah, in addition to everything that you said, right? One thing that really has stood out to me is how quickly people jumped on the I hate Blake Lively hate train. That is
Totally.
insane. And first off, y'all don't know what happened. B, y'all don't know Blake. Y'all don't know Justin. Y'all don't know nobody involved in this personally. What are you doing?
We
Second,
like to hate women.
but that's the thing. It's like if the shoe were on the other foot and somebody were putting out hateful shit about you and you know it's not true, wouldn't you want people to be like, look, that is not true. This is bullshit. But no, people are just like so eager to hate on other women. And a lot of this was women hating on Blake Lively because I don't know, because she's beautiful, because she's wealthy, because she has a nice life, because she has a husband who loves her and actually likes her and she has beautiful kids or whatever. I don't know. Name the reason. I'm sure there's a
Because we
million.
like to hate women.
Right. And what's even more disturbing to me after hearing some of the stuff that's in the complaint, the two women who headed this smear campaign, the crisis PR team to help Justin, they actually noted, oh, how crazy is it that people are so easily manipulated by shit that we placed on the internet on purpose to steer this whole campaign. And I'm like, wait a minute, have we learned nothing after 2016 and 2020 and 2024 about you can't trust everything you hear or read on the internet?
I laughed so hard my headphones fell off. All right, final question.
Okay.
Justin Baldoni, man enough, yay or nay?
Yep, that's a big, big nay. I'm gonna need Justin to like, he's gonna have to do a lot of groveling and eat a lot of crow and admit that he's a jackass and admit that he's got a lot to learn and to change and to do and all the things and just and he's got to it's got to be a big ass fucking apology like to Blake not I mean, yeah, okay, fine. If he wants to be like, I'm sorry, people of the internet, fine. Okay, if you want to do that. But not before he goes privately to Blake and says, I am so sorry. I am an asshole. I did an asshole thing. I'm ready to learn from this. I'm sorry. Like he has got to be majorly sorry and mean it. And I
I,
don't
th-
know if that's ever going to happen.
I just think there's something underlying, something in there that he actually doesn't understand or doesn't want to understand, is never going to understand. He's pretending, he's trying, maybe. I don't know what it is, but
Yeah, but this could be a
mm,
moment to call him in and be like, okay, Justin, you've gotten so far, but you lost your mind while you were working on that movie, being the director, thinking, oh, I'm the hot shot. I can be an asshole. Nope, let's pull it back in, Justin. You got some more to learn. Now, open yourself up, Justin, to some lessons. It could be a good growth opportunity for him.
this is a sad point for me because I'm really starting to wonder, do men have it in them to evolve past this point?
I think so, yes. But it's going to take a fuck ton more work than they have done or are willing to do as a collective. It can't just be one here and there. It's too many of them. for it to just be one or two sprinkled here and there. It's got to be like a whole collective thing. So it's a lot of work that these boys and men need to do. It's possible for them to do it. I just don't know if they're going to. And I would like to believe that people can change and can learn from their mistakes.
You a better person than I am.
I'm really not. But so I will turn the question right back at you. For you, Justin Baldoni, man enough, yay or nay?
That's a big nay. And he not only owes Blake Lively an apology, he owes a big fucking apology to Liz Plank because she has been working with his ass for years. And as a matter of fact, what's his name? Heath?
Jamie Heath?
Jamie Heath owes a fucking apology too because he was involved with this as well. So let's not forget about him.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. If it's one thing to have a podcast about toxic masculinity as men, to have that podcast and talking about it and learning from it, but to hold yourself out as an expert and like you have evolved and you have now reached Buddha nature. Honey, no, you have not. You still have shit to learn. And I don't listen to that podcast enough.
His Buddha fell.
His Buddha fell. Maybe he had been somewhat self-effacing before and oh, I am a fallible human. I don't know.
He has.
Okay. Well, then he needs to revisit that. And he needs to do some real work.
All that would be fine if he hadn't then launched a smear campaign.
Yeah.
I mean, that is kind of the bottom line.
It's
he
awful.
Did wrong. He got caught. He did big kind of cover up that also, again, hurt the person that he had already hurt.
Yeah.
Justin, you're done, Justin. You're done.
Yeah, it's a big nay.
It's a big nay.
And and to Blake Lively, because she's going to listen to this, I really hope, I don't think there's any hope that Justin Baldoni is going to apologize to her. But I do hope that people who jumped on that let's hate Blake Lively bandwagon, I really, truly hope some of those people are just as vocal with their, oh shit, I was wrong. I swallowed all that shit, hook, line, and sinker, and I'm sorry.
I think they're starting to. Blake Lively deserves a big apology.
She really does. She really does. Thanks everyone for listening today. We will be back with more Madness Cafe next week. You can find us on Instagram at Madness Cafe Podcast or email us at madnesscafepodcast@gmail.com. Bye.